All right, I think that's I think that about covers it. What about you?
Yeah, that should be good.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Gospel of Comics. I am your host, the Church of Failure. With me, as always, my co-host Eric McCartney. How you doing today, buddy?
Much better than last week. How
Uh,
about you?
Thank God. I'm doing pretty well. Doing pretty well. If you hear a small chapel in the background, don't be alarmed. She has a sixth sense for when I go live, and will infiltrate my little setup here, even though I strictly put her to bed an hour before we go live. But whatever, it's all good. Um,
Very strict.
Drinking, absolutely Iron Hand, Iron Handed Church. That's what they call me around these parts. Have a little, have a little. Hold on one moment.
Right on cue, folks. So I believe Church was about to start with what he's drinking tonight. So I will preempt it
Hi.
by saying I
Oh,
am.
go ahead. Yeah.
I was just saying I'm. I believe you were about to say what you're drinking tonight.
I am. The great Nick Rackets has been suggesting Glenlivet 12 for a good 3 months now, so I finally broke down and bought
That is
some.
a good one. Yeah, I'm drinking Bushmills Black Bush and having a Cuban cigar. So
They prefer African American Bush. Sorry,
beige number 12 Bush
uh, Sandy Beige 42.
or Sandy Beige 42. That's what
Right,
it was.
right. Get it right. Anyway, moving on from my horrible jokes there. Thanks everybody for not leaving immediately after that. But what oh god, 3 times now. 3 times I put them back. Anyway, uh, going to go ahead and give everybody kind of an intro of what we're getting into tonight.
Sure. So today we have another rendition. Is that the word?
Addition, I
Might be
think.
the word.
Another addition.
Edition. Sure. Of this week in comics, new releases, and a special treat at the end. Yes.
No. The
On
the order I believe we're going to do this in, as far as I was looking at it, was we're going to do Trump's Space Force first, looking over the Donald Trump
oh well, never mind.
inspired. Yeah,
The treat's coming at the beginning.
the treat's coming at the beginning.
My
Then
bad.
then we'd look at the news, and then we do our reviews. It's all in the cryon, so
Okay.
everybody knows what we're looking at anyway. Shows how
True.
prepared you are. I write this stuff down. You don't read it. What am I doing with you?
No. Hey,
But got a
we've been
few.
over this.
Got a.
There's a reason I like comics. They have pictures.
That's right. Um, got a couple of news articles we're going to be looking at from this week in the comic industry. Then at the end of the show, we picked out a book a piece that was coming out this week to review, and Ayrton picked Killer Groove, and I picked Batman: The Last Night on Earth. So we'll be giving our thoughts on both of those at the end. So unless there's any questions, I say we get right into it.
Let's do it.
All right. So starting off here, we've got Trump Space Force by Chuck Dixon, Timothy Lim, and Brett R. Smith. Dedicated to the memory of Dominic Durden. Oh my goodness. Dedicated to the memory of Dominic Durden and in the honor of Sabine Durden. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. But just judging from the cover,
Yeah, we'll go with it.
you can already tell what we're looking for, what we're looking at here. What we're about to look at, and I'm going to go ahead and preface this by saying that I know that not Alterna, I'm doing that all day. Antarctic Press is the company that Richard Meyer had some dealings with and had some dealings with Mark Wade, and they are not involved, but they are supposedly key players in a lawsuit going on for tortious interference with Richard C. Meyer. And while I don't really like what went down in that, I really had no problem picking this up on Comixology when I saw that it came out this week because I've been wanting to read it and I missed a Kickstarter for it. So it's very fun. There have been several reviews of it.
Oh, it's a blast.
Yeah, there have been several reviews of it trashing it as propaganda for the kids. I've never once heard of a kid reading this. This is definitely just for people who like laughing at Donald Trump in a good way or a bad way. I think he's fucking hilarious on Twitter, and this is just kind of an extension of that. There are memes galore, which we'll point out as we pass through them or remember them. There are little cameos everywhere, and at
That's
the back,
amazing.
in the back, there's a little, there's just it's just great. The end is, oh man. So, unless you have something else you want to say about it, let's go ahead and start looking at this.
All I got to say about it, we're going to be talking about as we go through. So let's do it.
Well, I guess we can just go ahead and start with the first couple of pages because there we go. All right, we've got Trump addressing the United States, talking about starting up the Space Force, and Chuck Schumer having a little fit about it, and then he summons his alien friends who call him Shumar, and lets them know that Donald Trump is a problem with their plan. So immediately you see that Chuck Schumer is in league with the evil aliens. And that's it's a common theme of this book here.
Now, just off the bat, are we sure this isn't based on some declassified information from like Area 51 or something we don't know about?
I don't know. I don't know what kind of clearance Chuck Dixon has. Mrs. Church has jumped in to save the day by leading the smallest chapel away again. So hopefully we'll be able to make this through. But I don't know what kind of security clearance Chuck Dixon has, but I wouldn't be surprised. However, we're then met with the other aliens here. This is probably my favorite part of the entire book. But some ally aliens that you never hear of again show up, and they refer to Trump as God Emperor Trump. Flashing back to the meme, they introduce the evil aliens.
And hold on, the allied aliens look like eagles.
Yes.
Which is...
Yes, I was going to get to that, but thanks for going there. After they introduce the evil invading aliens as the CNN, SIENN apostrophe EN, they give them some information in hard light travel to to create technology to defeat these evil invaders. And after Secret Service tries to shoot at the hologram, basically, he just sticks his hand up, stops the bullets, and says, "Violence is not necessary. I come to help your world." And Trump's like, "It's okay. This alien's illegal, but he's just visiting." Trump then escorts the Secret Service out and is like, "Great work, guys. Great work. Now, get a hold of General Kelly and Mad Dog for me. Chop, chop." And they were, what was that? And, "A giant space eagle. Now get chopping." It was a giant space eagle. What are you asking stupid questions for? You saw it.
Now, don't you feel like that's exactly how Trump would handle meeting an alien?
100%. In fact, he probably already has, and again, this is autobiographical. I honestly think this is nonfiction. But yes, so we see how he handles it. We're gonna skip forward a little bit because I seriously encourage you go out and buy this. I don't, what was it, $4 or $5? But
Yeah, something like that.
it definitely is worth the cover price. So they develop a scanner to track down who is who and who these aliens have invaded and infiltrated as. And the first one they reveal is none other than Nancy Pelosi.
Which again supports our theory that this is nonfiction.
Right. I believe it's implied that Michelle Obama, Rachel Maddow, and Chink from the Young Turks are all also aliens.
And I love the Alex Jones cameo. I definitely read that in his voice in my head.
It's in the water. I warned you about the frogs. That's 100% exactly.
They're turning the freaking frogs gay.
Putting chemicals in the water. Yes. Breaking the conditioning, all that. But I mean, that's
animating contest of liberty.
That's pretty good. Yeah, pretty good.
Thank you.
Good, Jones. But yeah, that's what this book is. For page after page, I mean, it's hard not to laugh. They introduce airboarding. I'm not going to pull that up because there's a few other pages I'd like to show. The aliens actually That's pretty hilarious, I think. Newt Gingrich is a head scientist in all of this.
See, now this is where I think they, took some creative liberties with it, but that's just me personally.
No, this all still happened. We'll get it pulled up in just a second, folks. I'm just trying to find the right page here. Here we go. How about the fake news logo mothership? Old peacock feathers there. NBC, I believe that is.
MSNBC.
MSNBC, yeah. And at one point in this book, he calls out CNN. He calls out MSNBC. What's the other one here?
Wasn't there a jab at was it the Wall Street Journal or one of those? Wasn't there a jab at?
God, I'm trying to think. Oh no, the NPC is what I was thinking about. The non-piloted combatants.
Oh yes. The train on the bottom left, that is an NPC.
Yes.
A non-piloted combatant.
Yes.
It is a scout ship for the CNN.
Right. I'll pull that back up. Yeah, that's the CNN NPC. It kind of even looks like it has a little bit of the NPC face on his stomach. The blaster is pew pew, but that leads me to the last little hilarious tidbit that I wanted to pull up in this. Like I said, I'm not gonna show the whole thing. I really think that I think I got 4 more panels I wanna look at. Trump giving the okay sign, that occurs.
Numerous.
Oh man, you're roboting. You're roboting really bad. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know why they hate me so much.
Am I?
Yeah.
I mean, we have tons of storms coming through. How's that?
That's probably, yeah, that's probably the reason. But yeah, there's Trump suiting up to go out and fight the aliens by himself because the boys need help. Uh, I'm not letting those men and women die down there. But oh man, yeah, I think that's the last page I got to show. There is the Magatron. But first,
Well, you have to show the sound that the
that's the next
proton
thing.
cannons
Yeah,
or whatever.
there we go. Yeah, all of the
Okay.
all of the American proton cannons, when they shoot, they go maga 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 maga. When they explode, they the
I laughed
maga.
so hard when I read that.
But yeah, lots of cameos, lots of political names made it into this book. I'm not going to go through all of them, but Newt Gingrich surprised me the most. I think lastly here, the page I want to look at is where are we at? Yeah, there we go. The USS James Marshall, I believe, was the name of the ship, but it transforms into Magatron. Oh man, can you hear my child screaming from her room? Is that a thing?
I can't hear it,
Okay.
but
Well, I mean, if my microphone's not picking it up, but yeah. What's going on, Denny, in the chat? Becky, Gulf City. I think that's everybody. Ayrton's in the chat. But nobody cares about
hey,
him.
hey, Becky's already giving me shit.
Well,
I've
I
been
mean,
good so far this episode.
you have. You have. Did I even fire you last episode? I probably did. I like to remember to do it.
I can't remember. I was half dead last episode.
I think I may have felt pity for you, and she's back. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go put her down. Go ahead and talk about this for a minute. I'll be right back.
All right, yeah. So one thing I was going to point out is the Magatron also has a energy sword that produces a red wave. This book was just fantastic. It was a bit of a last minute pick. We had some scheduling things come up for this weekend, so we scrambled a little bit. But church kind of rattled off a couple of titles to me, and I said, yes, we have to do this one. You know what, Becky? Don't tell me how to live my life. Anyways, so
Are you
yeah,
arguing
this
with
book
people in the
is
chat again?
laughs from. I just told Becky to tell me to live my life.
Oh man, you are breaking up terribly. I hate it so much. I'm gonna have to get you an actual
Am I?
audio setup. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, starting to get on my nerves. I have to say that every episode.
Is that any better?
Yeah, for now. It's just gonna start being bad again in like 20 minutes, like it does. We'll deal with it. We'll deal with it.
All right.
I believe that's a cartoon in the chat with the very strange username. But anyway, no, like
What
Ayrton
up,
was
man?
saying, this is absolutely fantastic. Laugh after laugh after laugh. I mean, you can either take it as just a 100% endorsement of Donald Trump and his antics, or you can take it as depicted in this book, and I will not believe anything
Or
else
will
anyone tells
happen.
me. Yes, it could be prophetic. So, I mean, you got that going for you. Yeah, the Magatron.
Yeah, fantastic book.
Yeah, that's definitely it's definitely worth checking out. It's like 48 pages, something like that.
Oh yeah.
I'm just looking through here to make sure that there's nothing else I wanted to highlight before we. Oh yeah, right there at the very end, the new hat. We're gonna have to get some of these made up.
Oh yeah. I forgot
Everybody.
about the hat.
Yeah, Newt Gingrich finally gets a medal. Um, but we get the Make Space Great Again hat. So I as what this was, I don't know that it could work as an ongoing series by any means whatsoever. But for what it was absolutely hilarious. Um, Definitely worth checking out. Definitely worth looking into. Um, if you missed a Kickstarter, then you can actually get your hands on it and read it. Either 38, 32, 48. How many pages was this? 32. 32 pages of story. So, but we didn't. We had to change
Highly
gears.
recommend this one.
Yeah, we had to shift gears for tomorrow's show, so we ended up having to find something to read for today. But it's uh it's fantastic. I, the only thing I can say about it is it's so on the nose, like. But I think that's the overall purpose of it. It's absolutely ridiculous, but it's so much fun. It's what comics should be. They should be fun. I don't know that they have to be this fun, but I am glad to see that this got out to a more broad audience. I'd be interested to look into how it's sold because it was only released on Comixology Wednesday, I think. Tuesday or Wednesday, but I saw that it was on there this morning and grabbed it. But anyway, you can pick it up on Comixology. Your local store might be able to get it, or may be able to get a reprint of it because I think it came out 2 weeks ago on in print. So you may be able to still pick a copy of it up, but definitely give this a look. Uh, that pretty much parrot your thoughts on the topic.
Oh, definitely. This is a great book, especially if you follow politics just for the entertainment factor, like I do.
Right. Right. If you
This
like
is a spot on parody.
right, there's plenty of memes. There's plenty of laughs to be had. Even if you hate Trump, I mean, I think you can find something to like about this comic book. It's just because you can look at it as just kind of a comic. But anyway,
And now,
yeah,
on to the news.
let's get right into the news. What, Drew? What page?
Is that what you wanted me to do last week?
Yeah. What?
Oh, the Magatron. He thought you had somebody draw the Magatron for you.
No, the Megatron was literally in the. Let's kind of give cartoon a little rundown. We just read Trump's Space Force cartoon. It came out from Antarctic Press. Antarctic Press has some interesting position in the Richard C. Meyer situation that pretty much was one of the catalysts for Comicsgate, I think. Well, not catalyst, but one of the first salvos of Comicsgate was the Richard C. Meyer, Mark Waid thing, which Antarctic Press was caught right in the middle of. But they put this book out, which was Chuck Dixon and Tim Lim from, they put it out on Indiegogo, I believe, and Antarctic Press picked it up and published it again. So I saw that it was on Comixology and we read through it. You definitely worth the read. But anyway, like we were saying, I've got a few news articles from this week. I'm not sure how long will be on these. Some of them are quick, and some of them require a little bit more. I don't know,
Finesse.
a little more time to look into them. Why is this not pulling up? Come on, okay. Alright, maybe.
Did you fix it?
No, it's just a white screen. Maybe this one?
Lovely.
Yeah. Ah, there we go. Okay, there's one. Maybe it just took them a minute to, nope, I'll have to work on that one. We'll skip to this one.
All right.
Yeah, this is an article that I found just kind of looking around this week, and one of the coolest things that I've seen in my time looking at comic books has been the internet archive of, you know, free market comic books, or what's the word I'm looking for? Public domain. Well,
Public domain.
um, the
We're still showing a white screen on the stream.
it'll pick
there,
up.
There it goes. It caught.
Yeah.
There you go. It caught up.
Yeah.
All right.
I have chat pulled.
Anyways.
So yeah. Anyway, UNAM creates a digital catalog of Mexican comic books, and it's essentially the same thing that we were doing for the old comics on for the public domain. But, and I say we, I mean as Americans, there are several websites where you can get like public domain comic books from the 20s, 30s, 40s, anything that's not still in circulation. But
which that could be kind of fun show to do. Read some of those old comics from like the 20s.
oh yeah, a lot of the old Western comics and the war comics and stuff. I mean, hell, that's where Sergeant Fury and the Howling Commandos, Sergeant Rock, all of those comic books were. I mean, some of the first ones out because war comics were huge. But anyway, I'm going to butcher these titles, and I apologize to any Hispanic members of the audience or anyone watching this in the future. But Kalaman, Chinook, Mimim Penguin, the Burin family, Capulina, Los Super Sabios, Los Agachados, and other classic Mexican comic book series are now available in a digital catalog uploaded by Mexico's National Autonomous University. You can find more than 1,400 comic books in Pepines, a website created by UNAM's Bibliographical Studies Institute. That's all I'm going to read from this, but basically I wanted to talk about the idea of it because, you know, I've talked before about how I look at comic books as kind of like the American mythology. You know, we're not going to have in this society a pantheon of gods any further than we already do. I mean, you have your major religions, but stories of fantastic nature have all basically gone the way of science fiction and fantasy and high fantasy, all of that stuff. So creating these archives so people can look back on the history of the medium, I think is extremely important. Not that I don't think we don't need hard storage for them, because hard drives are going to fail, you know. But it just always fascinates me that people kind of scoff at the idea of just, you know, the potential educational value that some of these books have. I mean,
and because like Zeus and Hades and Hercules and stuff, but we do have Bruce, Jackie, Clint, and Chuck. So
Well, I mean, don't you can't say that. We actually do have a Zeus and a Hercules and a Thor and an Odin and a Loki
True.
and
But it's not the
Ares.
same.
It's not the same, no. But that's kind of where I first started to kind of look at comic books as American mythology because Wonder Woman has a pantheon within it. Marvel Comics has a pantheon, but that's where these stories come from. These stories are basically creations of our imagination that show the pinnacle of what people could be. Now that doesn't go for modern comic books because modern comic books are just a socio-political statement. Propaganda comic books in the 40s don't necessarily fit that mold, but Captain America was always supposed to be what a true patriot was. You know,
Right.
say what you will about it. Yes, he went and punched Hitler. Yes, that was political, but I can guarantee you at the
It's
time
the
a lot of
character behind it.
right. Well, I can guarantee you at the time a lot of Americans identified with wanting to go over to Germany and punch Hitler. So
Right.
that just because it was topical doesn't take anything away from the storytelling aspect of it. Let's see, Gulf City Cult of Krill. Did you know that the Army used comics to train troops in the past? No. If you'll send me any kind of information you've got on that, I'd love to look into it and possibly cover Gulf City. DM it to me on Twitter, since you can't do links in the YouTube. I don't think. Well, you have a wrench, you might be able to, but still DM it to me so I'll be able to keep up with it. But yeah, I definitely would like to look into that. I knew that they distributed comic books to the soldiers, but I didn't know that some of those were used to train troops. But I guess I have seen like Boy Scout comic books that taught them how to tie knots and start fires and things like that. So it would make sense that they would do similar things for the army. But I'd love to see some of them, or at least be able to kind of dig for them.
Yeah, it's interesting.
All right. I'm gonna see if I can find another link for that Run DMC article. Go ahead and give a little spoiler for what it is. Run DMC. What
Aw,
does that have to
shit.
do with comic books?
You're about to find out. Isn't the suspense killing all of you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty sure someone's actually wetting themselves right now, just not in the chat or
Probably.
on the show.
I mean, Denny might be.
Well, it'd be nice. I invited Denny on the show whenever he'd like to come on, so he can be our resident comic curmudgeon. All right, let's see. Let's see if this one works. Oh, now it's coming up. Jesus Christ! There we go. All right. Also, is the screen share not
Don't
working
you love
for you?
technology, folks? No, I can see it.
Okay. So, Daryl McDaniels of Run DMC on his love of comics and his new comic book publishing house, DMC, which stands for, I believe, Daryl Makes Comics or Daryl McDaniel Comics.
Yes.
Let's see. Daryl Makes Comics. Yes. Comics. Yes, it's Daryl Makes Comics. So, I know you probably can't see it on the screen. Oh, you can see the cover, but the cover is the name of the title is DMC, and then you have the publisher board, which is DMC, and then on the main character on the cover's hands are two like brass knuckle rings that both read, you guessed it, DMC. But
I want to see the cosplay of this at a Comic-Con.
Oh man, the founding member of the groundbreaking rap group Run DMC, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Daryl McDaniels didn't just achieve hip hop stardom; he helped the art form cross over into the mainstream, exposing it to a new fan base for the first time. The group's utilization of rock and roll, willingness to work with the genre's biggest names, turned each member of Run DMC into larger-than-life stars. but growing up in the Hollis neighborhood of New York City's Queensboro, the different array of larger-than-life characters influenced Daniel, comic book superheroes. And it goes on to talk about how he launched his own imprint, Daryl Makes Comics, in 2014, and he cites his favorite comic book characters. Talks about expounding his partnership with Rick Morales. Basically, it explains that he set up his comic publishing arm because he loved comic books and it's something that he wanted to do basically his whole life, being a creator of music. He said he wouldn't even have been a musician had it not been for comic books. And I thought that was a pretty interesting kind of feel good thing to look at in this week, because
Yeah.
last week there were a couple of really sad, just hard to talk about topics come up, but also the fact that this comic cover is so ridiculous. DMC by DMC, where the main character is
It,
branded in DMC, DMC squared,
I mean,
if you will, cubed even.
it, it, cubed. It definitely looks like a comic book from like the 80s or early 90s. Like the cover art at least does.
Well, you notice that the main character also has the hat and the sunglasses.
Yes.
So, cartoons calling for a clip of the ground raping. It's fantastic. Thank you, cartoon. It's what good friends are for, I suppose. I said it. I'll own it. But I don't know. A couple of I'm an old enough head to remember some of Run DMC. I'm pretty sure everyone in my generation grew up humming "Walk This Way." Um, Mainly because
Okay, am I the only one in this general age group that knew the Aerosmith song before their version?
yes, 100%. There we go. All right. So here's one that I was a little divided by, and I'd love it if the chat kind of
Sorry,
weighed in on
real
this.
quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just real quick. I'm like 3/4 of the way tempted to grab my guitar and start playing that riff. By the way.
I mean, maybe for the outro. I don't want to get copy. I don't want to get copy struck right in the middle of the stream.
That's a guitar tune to play that riff at the moment.
Besides, it would be choppy because your audio is terrible. This here is, yes, cartoon Aerosmith version for life. This
Hell yeah.
This is an article from comicbook.com about a writer for an independent writer, Joshua Luna, apparently author of Girls comic. I don't know anything about that title. But it says Image refused to publish his Filipino memoir. Now, this one I am going to read. I don't think it's quite as long as the Run DMC article. I definitely encourage everybody to check out these links. I will post them in the About section if you're interested in them. But these are just some things that I thought were interesting and kind of wanted to touch on before we got into the weekly roundup review. Anyway, wait, what? As May, and by extension, oh, okay, and by extension, Asian Pacific American Heritage Month, never heard that term, is winding to a close today.
That's a thing?
Apparently. May is also National Hamburger Month.
Huh.
Is winding to a close today. Writer Joshua Luna, one half of the Luna brothers, who have published work like Girls, Ultra, and The Sword, expressed regret in not being able to announce a new project this month, claiming the publisher Image Comics refused to consider a memoir comic dealing with Filipino experience in America. The writer made the announcement via a lengthy Twitter thread in which he explained his position, told fans what he had apparently been told by Image, and solicited patrons to his Patreon to help him get his book made. He drew unfavorable comparisons between how the publisher had handled his project and how it dealt with the recent controversy over Howard Chaykin's Divided States of Hysteria. Now, that's the first thing I'm going to call out here. Every book is not created equal. Howard Chaykin's Divided States of Hysteria definitely caught a lot of controversy, and the industry held, the industry held it up and said, you know what, we're not going to fold to this. I have not heard a single thing about this. What even is the title? Americanization is the title of this book, and this particular thread, this particular article is the first time I've ever heard about this comic book. So there's no controversy about it. People know that I follow Comicsgate, I follow War Campaign, I follow a lot of indie comic creators and artists. I follow a lot of conservative comic creators, Ethan Van Sciver, Richard C. Meyer. I follow the Umbrella Guy. I follow Hero Hey. I follow Yellow Flash. I keep up with this stuff, and if there had been a rumbling about Americanization, I would have probably at least seen or heard that title and looked at it and said, well, that's kind of a stupid title. Because it's hard to pronounce, first off. I mean, I get the concept of it, but, I mean, think about how small that's going to be on a cover.
Right.
Or how squished it's going to have to be. And I think we actually do have an image near the bottom of this article, but...
Well, think about being drunk and trying to say that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, we're almost there. I'm going to pour myself a second scotch here in a minute.
Only your second? I'm on my third. Catch up, son.
Since we started the show, I talk more than you do.
No, not since we started.
Okay, I was about to say, I'm not talking about how much I day drank today. That's just embarrassing. Luna believes that Image never wanted to publish the book and looked for several excuses. Oh, anyway, before I get on this again, I look for topics to talk about. I look for comic books like this to say, hey, and if this book comes out, I want to look at it. I want to review it. I want to give my take on it. But to compare it to United States of Hysteria, which the left was completely reeing about coming out, I mean, United States of Hysteria caught people death threats, all that stuff. And I've never even heard a rumbling of this title. That's not to say that it hasn't been out there. If anybody's heard of it and is in the chat or wants to, let us, let me know that there has been some kind of controversy surrounding it, I'd love to see it. Leave a comment, leave it in the chat, DM me on Twitter, tweet at me, whatever. But I don't, I can't say that I've seen it. Anyway, moving on. Luna believes that Image never wanted to publish the book and looked at several excuses to get out of the deal, some of which he characterized as culturally tone deaf. Here's what he had to say about the project, with some minor edits made for clarity and formatting, as well as one tweet embedded so you can see its images. For Asian American Heritage Month, I'd hoped to announce the release date for Americanization, a book collecting my online comic strip about Filipino American, Asian American identity and experiences. But since my publisher, Image Comics, doesn't seem to be comfortable publishing it, I need your help. When I pitched Americanization, a partner compared it to a female cartoonist's collections of political cartoons, many of which are anti-Trump, and described both books as angry, and with no story for people to relate to, implying her book was a mistake and mine would be too. The partner, a white man, said that my work should be more positive and implied that Asian American experience would be more relatable if it was like Pen 15, a show that reminds his half Japanese wife of her childhood. The protagonist is half white, half Japanese. I'm neither. I'm Filipino. He showed my strip to Asian Americans he
Yeah,
knew.
hold on
Okay,
one sec.
okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You all eat dogs. Anyways, continue.
Oh, I disavow.
They do. China has a dog eating like festival.
I know, but not Asian Americans.
Well, I meant like Filipino and Japanese.
I know plenty of Asian Americans that are perfectly integrated into our culture and eat chicken just like us. But
Allegedly.
I have to think that it's chicken. I've eaten a lot of it. He showed my strip, blah, blah, blah. I'm neither, I'm Filipino. He showed my strip to Asian Americans he knew, including one of the staff, to co sign his belief my book wouldn't sell. He used their opinions to justify ignoring my online following and every fan who's explicitly told me they wanted to buy this book. Most are Asians, POC, and educators. Alright, now, let's just look at that for a second. I I have to think that oh no, yeah, Mrs. Church agrees that the author of this sounds just like a bitch.
Does she also agree that they eat dogs?
Do they also eat dogs? Okay, she disavows as well. Um,
Damn it.
you're fired, Eric.
Are you happy, Becky?
um, but the whole thing is, I mean, I agree with the publisher. There's no room in a major publishing industry. And Image Comics is what, third in the top four. Image Comics has no businesses publishing anti-presidential comic books, regardless of their personal politics. They want to sell comic books. They want to sell comic books to people who buy comic books. The thing about this guy saying, well, I see all my followers saying they want to buy this comic book. All your followers have read the online comic strips for free. They're not going to spend money to buy it. Sorry. If you want to sell it to people that will actually buy it, do what Comicsgate does. Start an Indiegogo, start a Kickstarter, and sell your book to people that want it.
No, but see, that's the problem. Is if you have to do it that way, then your book will only sell by merit.
I
You
think
won't
that's
get.
the problem here. But anyway, he goes on to state that he, being the partner, begrudgingly greenlit the book, even though it was clear that he didn't want to, and I submitted my cover a month later. I was immediately told I could not use it due to legal concerns over its parodying of trademark characters. We just saw that DC put a cease and desist on AOC Comics, so it's not a political bias. It's literally a legal issue. AOC is as left as they come. Comics industry is being accused of being excruciatingly leftist, and they still said, fuck you, you're not using Wonder Woman. So I can imagine his original cover had a parody of that they knew that someone's legal team would be in charge and said, hey, fuck you, you're not using my character. Anyway, no suggestions were offered to make it usable. Okay, you're a comic creator. Do your job. Create a comic that's usable. I asked for more details as my strips also parody criticized trademark characters, and Image insisted the interiors were fine because, unlike a cover, they're not used to promote the book. I offered to modify the cover, the versions you see here, but they ignored me and got a lawyer. They then said the interiors were a problem because my criticism of Marvel's anti-Asian narratives were so negative within the book's overall context. Our exchange got heated as I said I felt they wanted to reject the book all along and were using a legal angle to justify it. Yes, they paid a lawyer so that they could tell you you couldn't print a book, losing money on two fronts. That is absolutely what happened. That is absolutely what happened to make you a victim. I'm sorry.
And they're turning the frickin' frogs gay.
No, that was the last comic we looked at.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
They're turning the liberals into aliens.
They sounded similar in context. My bad.
I know. Anyway, 2 days later, I was informed that my best-selling comic previously published through Image would be removed from Comixology and any remaining copies burned. Burning books to reduce inventory cost is normal, but I've never been told it would put an end to digital sales. Concerned they were going to erase all my books, I tried again to work with them. I gave them a detailed list of all of the strips with potential legal risk and offered to modify them based on their recommendation, but they haven't been forthcoming with answers or guidance. One cover change the partner did suggest, though, was to exclude other characters and focus on you. As a light-skinned Filipino American, I assume, it is important for me to uplift dark-skinned Filipinos. Yet he was implying I should erase two characters that are my own IP. That's not a legal issue. I'm going to need to see some receipts on this. This sounds like, just a way to drive your point home. I don't believe this for a second. I've seen some of the shit that Image puts out, and they love. Ooh, was that fireworks or gunshots? Oh. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if we abruptly end the show, somebody send bail money to my PayPal. church.of.failure@gmail.com, my PayPal email. But anyway, no, it just I can't disagree with them. I mean, maybe Image Comics is actually actively trying to get away from political narratives in their comic books and things that exclude customers. If it's a negative book, listen to your editor. Like, don't, or put it out yourself. I mean, I have a hard time feeling sorry for this guy when you can obviously make money if you are legitimately claiming, hey, I have this many fans that want to buy my book. Okay, well, put it on Indiegogo. Let them buy it. I mean, am I wrong here?
No, not at all. I mean, that's so. As a creative person in the world and society we live in now, that's how this works. You put your shit up online. If people like it, they come back. They want more. That's how it works.
Right.
We don't really. So from like a music standpoint, we don't live in a society anymore where you need to go out and grind, play all the clubs, all the stuff, find a record label willing to sign you, put out a record.
You just need to upload to SoundCloud regularly.
Right. Or YouTube or right. Whatever. Like, this is the best time possible to be a creative person wanting to make a career out of your art and make money doing it because of the internet.
It's the best time possible to be a talented creative person.
Well,
now I don't doubt that this guy's work is very inspiring to Asian Americans, but I can imagine that it would probably ostracize a lot more white people from the comic industry, and the comic industry, I think, is finally getting wise and trying to get away from that because the writing's on the walls, folks. IDW is closing its doors. Marvel comic sales have been tanking for 3 years now. DC comic sales are tanking. People are walking away. They're not pulling in kids like they used to. You can literally go to a comic store and 9 times out of 10 there's one comic for kids for every 15 comics for teenagers and adults.
Well, when I was at my local store this week, it was just me for a good few minutes as I was browsing around. after I picked up the couple of books for this episode, one other person came in, and he was, I'd say, at least 45,
Yeah.
and was in there for like 3 minutes. I think picking up a couple of things he had on his pull list, and then he left,
Right.
and that was it.
Let me catch up on the chat here. Kigori is Korean dog meat. When I was there 15 years ago, it was starting to fall out of style. Patty Clee is in the chat. I think we're about to lose Becky and Patty. They're gonna go to Dead Man and abandon us like bad people. I'm just kidding. I love all of you. Thanks for stopping by. I don't know what Munkus is. That was from cartoon. Oh, it has a capital letter at the end. Is that from the slur machine? You wanna look that up real quick while I switch over to news topics here? Or I finish going through this article or whatever.
Yeah, I might have lost the link to that actually.
Just look up slur machine. It's slurmachine.fun.
Slurmachine. What?
Fun. F-U-N.
Oh, okay.
A little more ice to the Glenlivet. Yes, I drink it on rocks.
And what did he say?
Munkus.
Munkus.
Yeah, I don't know that that's actually a word that would be in the slur machine, but maybe it is. It just had a capital letter at the end, so I assumed.
Right.
Anyway, let me read this tweet here. One cover change the partner did suggest, though, was to exclude other characters and focus on you. I just read that, so I'm not going to read it again in his tweets. But it's hard not to believe that Image's behavior is discriminatory, especially when there's a double standard. When Howard Chaykin's comic was criticized for being harmful towards trans women and Pakistani men, Image defended and celebrated him for making people, quote-unquote, angry and uncomfortable. No, I don't believe they celebrated him. I believe they defended his right to publish because even though it would make people angry, it didn't violate any copyright issue that were going to get them sued by Marvel or DC. I think that was the overall statement. Yet when a marginalized person speaks truth to power, speaks about the harm of anti-Asian narratives, it's condemned as unpublishable for being angry and negative. No, I believe it was unpublishable because of copyright issue with some of your parody work. Suddenly, Image's credit to publishing comics, no other publisher would dare take a risk or no longer applies. Also, I'd like to point out that when they decided to publish Chaykin's book, it was in 2017. That was 2 years ago for you guys counting. A lot can change in 2 years with the idea of what one should do with a publisher, especially in today's political climate. If you don't think that, then you're insane. I would be willing to say that social justice has made people weary of publishing anything even vaguely political on either side now because of the amount of backlash they will face in today's social media culture. But that's just me. So, I was inspired to join Image years ago because two of his co-founders, Jim Lee and, I'm going to butcher this, Wallace Portillo, are Asian. I wanted to pay that forward and use Americanization to invite other creators of color to tell their story. But how
Such a dumb name. Sorry, yeah, I can't get over that name.
I can't either. It's awful. I mean, I get what he was trying to do with it, but I
get it. It's so bad.
Yeah. And
Anyways, sorry, continue.
how can I invite anyone with my own story isn't wanted? I still intend to publish Americanization, but I need a publisher who is POC friendly and supports the book with message and tone. In the meantime, I need your support, and I've been putting these strips out for free for 3 years. Why would you say that? Why would you tell anyone you wanted to come buy your book and support you as a creator that they could just get all the content for free and not give you money? Take that shit down, put it in your book, crowdfund it, and say, you're supporting the people of color, and you'll get all 12 cents that these SJWs have.
I mean, if he's just putting out strips, go to a freaking local newspaper or something. Write a newspaper comic strip about eating your dogs and, drowning your
I've heard the Wall
baby
Street Journal.
daughters.
I've heard the Wall Street Journal's pretty woke.
Right?
Maybe you can get on that national level.
Woke AF, as
Right.
a matter of fact, as the kids say these days, Church.
I believe the actual term is woke AF as fuck.
It might be.
But I think we're getting to the crux of the whole argument here, and the reason that all of this has been put out. I need your support. I've been putting these books out for free, or these strips out for free for 3 years, and I was counting on book sales as a source of income. Speaking out about this is risky and terrifying.
Sucks to be you.
But silence would only add to the pain it has caused. So if you've enjoyed my comics, please pledge to my Patreon and or donate via PayPal so that I can continue making them. Please give me money, everybody. I'm broke. I was really hoping this book would make me rich.
He's going to join the Yang Gang for his UBI.
That's right. Image has no comment. Not the first time in recent memory that content concerns have scuttled an existing publishing deal. Earlier, DC canceled a planned Vertigo series, Second Coming, after it gained attention in the conservative media and was being protested by Christian groups. The title later found a home at Ahoy Comics. So, what are your thoughts on that train wreck of just a cry fit?
He a little bitch.
Yeah,
those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I don't disagree at all. Like I said, I have no sympathy for somebody in an environment where everyone is looking at crowdfunding like, okay, I mean, if you honestly intend to put the book out, you will make so much more money if your statements are true. If your fans really want it, if they're actually going to buy the book, put it on Indiegogo and let them actually buy the book for $20 a piece. Upgrade your cover style like Doug TenNapel does. Make it a hardcover foiled coffee table piece for all your Asian American fan base. Give them a nice product. I mean, seriously. If you have that much faith in your work, then why are you worried about what Image will and will not publish? Isn't it the left that always? Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's the Republicans that always say free market. But at the same time, like, if you're gonna look at this and say, well, they should have to publish my book because they published somebody else's book, that's like my kids arguing. Why did he get 2 cookies and I only got 1? I mean, Nick Rackets covered this the other night. Why does he get more than me? Why does he get to go first? Oh my God. You're a grown man. Stop crying and go out and earn.
Columbia gave them a record deal. I should get one.
Right. Absolutely. It's because you're white.
Only from the waist up.
Oh, you're really using that meme. My dude.
Okay, so I just had a conversation with somebody about this. He came into my store, and one of my employees complimented him on his truck. And he's like, you know what they say about guys with big trucks? And my employee kind of looked at him. He's like, they got small dicks. And so I said, yes, that's why I drive a Volkswagen. I need to undercompensate. And he's like, exactly. He gets it.
Oh, man.
So.
I disavow. I think I'm going to have to fire you again. Oh, man. All right, let's see. See if one of these will work. There we go. Man accused of defrauding comic book icon appears in court is our next topic here. Yoriko can die in a fire. Denny's still here. Cartoon is Twitch tard, I suppose. Oh, okay. Okay. That's what the Munko was, or the Munkus. Yes, I agree with Gulf City in the chat. Yoriko, she still owes Cancer Kid $27,000 as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, we talked last week or the week before on Kaya Morgan, the former business manager of Stanley. Well, this is in the Associated Press. Phoenix, I believe, the former business manager and late comic book legend Stan Lee has had his initial court appearance in Arizona, where he was arrested after fleeing California charges of fiduciary elder abuse. He appeared on Sunday in Maricopa County Superior Court on the charge of being a fugitive of justice. Apparently, he ran from California after the police had, basically said he was charged. He ran from California to Arizona, and court documents show that Los Angeles police alerted authorities in the Phoenix suburb of Scottsdale that Morgan's cell phone was being used in North Scottsdale. So, if you're trying to run from the police in this day and age, you're going to have to go Ron Swanson off the grid. I mean, I'm talking smash your cell phone, all that junk. Court documents show, blah, blah, blah. Police say that 43-year-old Morgan was found in a house with his mother and arrested without incident. It is unclear when Morgan will be extradited to California. And he is facing felony charges, including theft, embezzlement, forgery, and fraud against the elder adult and false imprisonment of an elder adult. Lee died in November at age 95. So that's just kind of a small update on that. This is still kind of a developing story. When he gets back from California, he will have to appear before the courts on those charges, and hopefully we will have that information when it comes out. I can't imagine we wouldn't. This is such a highly publicized case. I guess we should end the news segment with some good news. Not that the DMC thing wasn't good news, but we should end on a good note.
There we go.
DC Comics set to stop double shipping comic books next year.
Hallelujah.
Thank Jesus for everyone who still buys DC comic books, which I know is not Atomic Denny. But DC Comics told retailers this weekend it would stop double shipping as of 2020, reverting all of its double shipping titles to single ship titles. Well then, why did that happen? That is not okay. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that.
Huh.
Stupid fucking.
The gospel of Boomer.
That is right. Don't you fucking forget it. I don't know why we don't have the ad block in this. Let's just say
because turn off that pesky ad block.
That's I suppose so. I guess I'm gonna have to start all over. I hate this so much. Anyway, for those of you that don't know, I think that double shipping is the term that pretty much says a comic is coming out twice a month. So instead of being able to just pick up the book, read the book, and move on with your life until next month. Now you have to either buy both copies to keep current with the story, or they have to do what they did with the first 50 issues of Wonder Woman and split the title up into two different story arcs, or you have to start divulging $10 instead of 5 to a title. And it kind of goes back to what I was bitching about last week with, and yes, I'll freely admit I was bitching. But what I was bitching about last week with the idea of, or not last week, 2 weeks ago, when did we have the conversation about retiring legacy
2 weeks
characters?
ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. But, I mean, you're putting out two Batman every month. Then you're putting out 2 issues of Detective Comics every month. And then you're putting out 2 issues of Justice League every month. And then you're still putting out Batgirl,
There's 3
Batman.
damn Wolverine comics going on right now.
Oh, no. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the same title.
Oh, okay.
Imagine if Amazing I think Amazing Spider-Man actually is twice a month. But, imagine if one of those Wolverine comics was twice a month. Or worse yet, all of them were. So now instead of 3 comics, you got to read 6. Instead of $5, you're spending $30 on one character. I mean, it's ridiculous. So they've said that they're going back to single shipping, and I feel like that's great news. I'm trying to pull the link back up, guys. Give me a second. I'm terribly sorry that I'm so bad at this. Hell, if anybody's even still watching, maybe they are. I don't even know if we have any viewers right now. I don't have that screen up. We got 3. We have 3 whole viewers.
Yeah, we do.
Three whole viewers. Thank God. Appreciate it. Mrs. Church is watching, and I appreciate it so much.
Mrs. Church is the real MVP of our viewership.
She is.
So he says.
I mean, I'm not stupid. But anyway, there we go. I've got it back up now. But DC Comics is set to stop double shipping next year, which, again, it's fine. They've got a list here. Batman, Detective Comics, The Flash, Wonder Woman, and the Justice League are all double shipped. So let's just look at Batman out of all that. Okay, he's a member of the Justice League. So you got Justice League and Batman and Detective Comics, all of which are heavily Batman influenced books. So that's 6. But then you have Batgirl, Batwoman, Red Hood, Harley Quinn, Nightwing, Batman Beyond. I mean, that's what? 12 titles that have a Bat character in them, easy, every month.
Right.
So that's what? $48 for Bat titles? If they're only $4 a piece? That's $50 for Batman.
Which is outrageous.
If you want to read everything that has Batman in it, minus all of his subsidiary titles like Batman the White Knight and Batman the Last Knight. It's so much. And the fact that they're cutting this off.
Which was $6.
Yeah. I'm not sorry. It was good. I'm not saying it was worth $6. Come on with these ads.
We'll get to it.
Yeah, come on with these fucking ads. You shitting me? There we go. Finally. All right. Anyway, the news comes from the comic book industry news site CBR, which is garbage, by the way. CBR, comic book reader, the trash website, and no one should give them clicks. You'll notice that 2 of these articles came directly from Forbes. DC told retailers yesterday and told us it's okay to share today that all double shipping books are going back to single shipping next year. The benefits of double shipping are pretty obvious. Twice the sales from must-see tentpole comic books. There's a less obvious downside to double shipping, though, which has kept most retailers and hardcore readers wary of the practice. It potentially cannibalizes other comic book sales, assuming most readers have a set allowance that they're willing to spend per month. they'll be forced to put out their extra $3.99 toward the second issue of Justice League in order to keep up with the main series, taking away a $3.99 that might otherwise go toward checking out a promising new series. To make it a little easier on Batman fans who aren't sure what to do with their extra money, oh, that's a joke. Once January 2020 rolls around, DC Comics will be launching a new 12-issue miniseries. So they're not going to stop double shipping Batman. They're just going to start shipping a second series when Tom King gets kicked off the book. Jesus Christ. These people don't know what the fuck they're doing anymore. Anyway, written by Tom King and drawn by Clay Mann, Higgins has confirmed this new series is at least partially responsible for DC's move away from double shipping. Oh, so Batman the White Knight, Dark Knight Metal, this new series about none of them had any effect on it, but this one in next year is supposed to go fuck yourself. Don't lie to me. Sorry. I'm not sorry, but still fuck them. Anyway, the Batman and Catwoman book. They don't want to lose the sales of 2 issues of Batman, so we got both the normal book and Batman Catwoman. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I can't hold it against them. I mean, I am pro-capitalism, but still, don't lie to me and say that you want to free up money so that other titles can thrive, and then immediately answer it by putting in another Batman title that people are going to have to buy to keep up with the fucking book. I mean, assuming that he's still even writing that book in this amount of time. But I don't know. The idea that they're going to stop double shipping those other comics are a godsend. Just because.
Now, if we can only get them to stop doing variant covers.
That's never going to happen. Variant covers are entirely too lucrative.
Now, I will say, if they were to produce some and just kind of randomly put them in shipments where you can't actually order them and make it kind of like a lottery game sort of thing, I'd be okay with that. But the way it's set up now is bullshit.
Well, I think if they're going to do variant covers, they should just do it first come, first serve and be done with it. Like, make a small amount.
I don't know. I kind of like the scavenger hunt sort of aspect to it. Like, just put them in random shipments, only print like a couple hundred of them. If you happen to get one in your shipment, then, awesome.
Well, I mean, coming from a Magic the Gathering background, I can tell you that's toxic to the environment, and it'll eventually die out because people will just stop buying that book and searching for it. They'll just go back to buying their normal, because at first it will increase sales so that you have a higher number and a higher chance of getting one. But eventually it will just become toxic to the industry. I promise. It's not a good idea. Like, it sounds good on paper, but it's never implemented properly. Is I guess what I'm trying to say. But anything else you wanted to touch on news-wise before we jump into our reviews for this week?
Not off the top of my head.
Doesn't DC have its own streaming service? You mean like TV? I think it's no, I don't think they do. I think they have a license with CBS or something to use their streaming service because that's where all their shows are. But I'll look into it. But I don't think they have. No. They for their yeah. They do. Yeah, they're developing their own. Yeah.
Yeah, well, technically just be Warner Brothers, right?
Well, no, I think they do have a DC branded streaming service for what is it? Like Swamp Thing and the Constantine show that's coming out, and the Nightwing or Teen Titans show that's coming out, all that stuff. So yeah, you're right. I don't really keep up with the TV stuff anymore. we Mrs. Church and I actually have very differing opinions on what the Robert Pattinson Batman will be like. And I'm not going to get into them on this show so that she doesn't yell at me in the background. But
Sparkly Batman.
I did say that I would appreciate it more if they put some glitter in the bat suit, but that would only be because I wanted to laugh at it. But they did. I did hear something. Mr. Church told me that they were basing it on the formative years of Batman in his early 30s or late 20s, and that's going to be like Batman Year One stuff. So Robert Pattinson can very likely pull that off, I think. So
Fair enough.
but my main complaint wasn't Robert Pattinson the actor; it was Robert Pattinson the actor. Oh, I'll look at those. I'm um, but no, it's not Robert Pattinson as the actor. It's more or less the idea that DC has just fucked their movie universe up,
Right.
and I just no matter how good of an actor he is, I can't imagine because Jared Leto's a fine actor, and look what they did to him as the Joker. Will Smith is a fine actor, and he was kind of a shit Deadshot. Why the fuck was El Diablo even in that movie? I mean, it's kind of a
I
slap
do
in the
not
face
get why
to that
people
character.
say that movie is so good.
Uh,
That movie was terrible. I don't get why people say it was so good.
yeah, no. Well, I mean, it had its moments, but as far as an
It did
overall,
not.
it did. Margot Robbie in those shorts was okay.
Okay, that does not count as a moment.
It was only a moment, so yes, it does.
If it's something you can just pull a picture up on Google Images, that does not count as a moment.
Actually, that's exactly what a moment means, Ayrton. But her in the original Harley Quinn suit though is really the shining moment of that movie. But other than that, no.
I thought she overdid it a little bit personally, but
well, I mean, you're not wrong. But anyway, let's get into our reviews before we get too too tied up in this. But yeah, no, DC does have its own streaming service coming out for some new live action shows they did. I was actually the show I was looking forward to the most, Swamp Thing. They canceled before it was even in post production and cut it down from 13 issues or 13 episodes to 10. So that pissed me off pretty good. But anyway, um, this week we've already told you guys what we picked. I picked Batman: The Last Night on Earth to look over. Ayrton picked,
and I picked Killer Groove, mostly just from the name.
Yeah, Killer Groove is an Aftershock comic. Ollie Masters is co-creator and writer. Ian Marin, I want to say, is co-creator and artist. What is it?
That's Owen. That's Owen.
Is it Owen?
Yes, that's the Irish spelling of Owen.
Okay. Jordi Belair on colors and Hassan Osman Elhau as the letterer. I apologize. I butchered the shit out of that. But go ahead and kind of give a description of this, and I'll.
Yeah. So.
If you want to give me any particular pages to pull up, I will. Otherwise, I'll be left to my own volition, and that's never good.
Yeah. So this is basically kind of like an old school. Kind of gave me, even though it's based in Los Angeles, it kind of gave me like an old school New York crime noir mystery, kind of like Private Eye type story feel to it. And which I love that kind of stuff. Actually, the Marvel Noir series is probably my favorite kind of offshoot Marvel universe.
Not to interrupt, but have a good one, Cartoon. Thanks for stopping by, man. Good luck
See
and
you,
be
man.
safe. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah, Marvel Noir was pretty good. I'm not sure if I like.
I haven't read all of it, but what I've read, I've loved it so far.
I'm not sure I liked it as much as I liked the 18 or 1602 stuff though.
That's fair.
But that's another debate. Maybe we can put those head to head one week. But
that'd be fun.
Yeah, we'll put that on the list.
Do like Spider-Man Noir and Spider-Man 1602 head to head.
Yeah, just kind of like, and maybe even like a series or something like that. I don't know. We'll look at it. We have too many ideas for the show. Let's not get bogged down.
Anyways, so the cover of this comic drew me in. So I should note this came about just from seeing the name of it, and then I went to my local comic store, and immediately, so I only knew the title, saw the cover, immediately was like, okay, this has to be good. Just the cover of this is just perfect, in my opinion.
I mean, that retro font, I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah. The blood dripping from the guitar case with the bandages wrapped around it and the bullet holes and the
7-inch record
everything.
In the background.
Yeah. And really, it opens up right away with kind of like almost like a spy thriller type action with.
You got eyes on the screen?
I have the hard copy in front of me.
No, well, I was gonna say, let me know when.
Yeah, I'll look back and forth. Do the page coming out of the pool.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
there we go.
So it opens with some old dude smoking in his apartment and two masked fellas with machetes coming in and.
Yeah, he's just sitting there. Yeah, that's
sorry. Take over
for
a sec.
It starts with a gentleman sitting there smoking what appears to be a left-handed cigarette. Just now one thing.
Okay, sorry.
He's got two hats. He's wearing his hat, and he also has a hat turned over with what appears to be money in it on the table. I found that entertaining. Bottle of whiskey.
As you do.
Yeah, a bottle of whiskey and either a cigarette or a joint, which he promptly uses to, stop
put out one of the dude's eyes.
Yeah, to stop one of the intruders. Now, one criticism I have of the sequence is I feel like the sequence could have been a little more clearer. It's not easy to kind of figure out what's happening.
Right.
Here. It's a little jumbled up. I feel like you lose a little bit right in the middle panel. Anyway, but you get the gist of it. He stops one of the intruders with a cigarette to the eye, closes the door on him, grabs his shit, and jumps out. Lands in the pool. His hat stays behind, and you see him walking off with the briefcase into, away from the invaders, the criminals there. And then you really have no the fuck idea what the fuck's going on, like, in that particular panel, but it makes you want to figure out why these guys are after this old dude. So.
Right. And I love the way he just is kind of casually strolling away from the pool after he jumps out the window.
Right.
Anyway, so then we cut over to, this is our main character, Johnny. Yeah, Johnny. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Johnny.
You know, I'm terrible with names the first time I read something.
Yeah, so am I. I just flipped to the next page and looked though real quick.
So he's what I would say is a career bar hopper musician.
Yes.
He's that guy that never
Oh,
really
I
made it and just kind of goes around
oh
playing the
I,
local digs.
I was this guy for many years.
Right. Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's
except
just,
except I got better hair than he does.
well, yeah, the blonde with the black eyebrows and mustache did bother the shit out of
And the mullet.
me. Now the mullet's fine. I need him to join the Space Force with that mullet. It's fantastic, but the
But
eyebrows,
basic,
the eyebrows and the mustache are definitely gonna have to either be dyed or
yeah,
re-dye the
it's
hair.
disconcerting.
Yeah, but
But so we find out he plays at this bar that he's also a bartender at, and there's also a chick at the bar who apparently he tried to hook up with,
right.
and she is a chick of color, and she said it ruined the moment when he told her he had never been with a quote unquote black chick before.
And I mean, like it does. That's a thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Which why would you say you say that to your buddies when you're talking about it the next day, over drinks? You don't say that to the chick. Like,
well,
come
and
on.
especially considering it's stated later on that he grew up in New York. Like
Right.
he's Italian, so he definitely knows that. But I don't know. I mean, maybe the guy writing this isn't Italian and doesn't know that Italians definitely know better.
Which is fair.
Um,
So he breaks up a bar fight, closes down the bar, and is walking home, and comes across the guys that were in the bar fight fighting in an alley, and sees one of them going for his gun. Which I thought that's okay.
Yeah, knocks a gun
that's
out
what
of
you
the
got
hand.
pulled up.
Yeah.
No, he bashes the dude in the face with his guitar case.
Well, yeah, knocks the gun out of his hand after knocking the guy in the face with the guitar. I mean, same thing.
Yeah, same thing. And then I still don't know where this letter opener, screwdriver, whatever the hell this is, came from on the ground.
That's the thing. The art's a little disjointed in that, but you understand what's happening. Like,
right.
Um,
But anyways, he ganks the guy in the neck,
mm-hmm.
takes him out, and the guy who he just saved offers to buy him coffee,
Right.
as you do.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. I'm just going back in a couple of pages to make sure I didn't see the letter opener anywhere.
I was gonna wait for you to catch up.
Let's see here. There we go. Yeah, let's
All right.
Let's go with these.
Anyways, so him and the dude in the diner, they chat for a while. He talks about how he came from New York to try and advance his music career and for the peace and love and all that stuff, man, I believe is the quote. And
yeah, the other guy's like, well, it was the free love and the cheap drugs that got me here, but
and then the dude points out that after killing that guy, his hands are entirely steady, not shaking, and that he's cut out for this kind of work, and that he's a hitman, and gives him a chunk of a piece of the cut that he got for trying to take out this dude, and offers him a job.
Right.
And then we cut to hold on, take over.
We cut to the next morning when the guy wakes up and he picks up his guitar and he just starts playing, and people outside of his window are just like, play it again, do it again, play more. And this is after, playing a bar set. Nobody wanted to hear it. Everybody was just like, whatever. And
so I just had a coughing fit and now I'm relighting my cigar. Anyways.
There you go. Yeah, drive another nail in the coffin. We want to, Becky wants to replace you really bad. But he plays better. It's implied that he plays better than he's played in the entire book.
Right.
Now, I'd like to
Which I will have to say that. So this is one of the things this page in particular, being a musician, I really, really got something from this page. The So back when I was doing the same thing as a folk singer, playing the coffee house circuit and all that
Yeah.
stuff in this area,
Right.
I had a few original songs, probably 5 or 6, but I had about 3 that I'd written in not the same sort of time of distress, but a very, very hard and emotional times for me. And I those songs I had literally gotten like standing ovations from. And so I totally get this. When as a musician and someone that's very plugged into this art form, when you have these heightened emotions, that's really the only outlet you have for getting them out. It's either to drink or to write about it. And
Usually
I
both at
think
the same time.
you usually, if I'm being honest. And this entire page right here perfectly encapsulates that moment
Right.
of just the weight of the emotions and the experience of what happened, and then just channeling that into the art. And I thought this page was fantastic.
Yeah. I don't want to give too much of the ending away, but
Oh
we
no.
can go into the mystery real quick before we switch over to the
Yes,
next title.
because this was actually my favorite part.
Right. So the last portion we're gonna talk about here. Those okay for you? Those two?
Yeah, those are good.
Okay.
So we
Now,
find out that
I do want to
go ahead.
I do want to talk about the paneling, but we'll do that when you get done.
All right. So we find out that the chick from the bar is a private investigator, and some punk ass, I don't know what, 11-year-old chick.
I'd say 13.
All right. A 13-year-old girl with a skateboard and a trucker cap
Right.
comes into her office, wanting her to find her father, and also asks if it's okay if she smokes. And the I forgot her name already. Anyways, asks, how old are you? Are you old enough to smoke or something? What did she say? How old are you? And then the little girl says, how old are you? And she goes, fair enough. Can I have one?
No. Give me a second, but no, don't misrepresent the quote.
Oh, it's how old are you? How the fuck old are you?
That
fair
is
enough.
correct.
Can I have one? And
Jackie
this is another good
the
Jackie
name.
And another fun exchange is, why don't you have any of your own? Because I don't smoke.
Yep. So, and there are clearly cigarette butts in the ashtray. So,
right.
But maybe that kind of depicts how long they were talking. I don't know. Interesting.
I mean, technically, I don't smoke, but I will have a cigarette occasionally. So,
I mean, I've quit smoking 1,000 times. It's the easiest thing to do.
right?
But she eventually takes a job. Says she'll charge the girl $50 a day since her budget is like 600. She's like, "How do you get 600?" And the girl's like, "Well, how are you actually gonna work and let me talk about this, or are you just gonna keep asking stupid fucking questions?"
Which this girl has to be the best character in the book so far.
Yeah. Either her or the old man that we know nothing about. I still hope that he's like a young Hector Salamanca from Breaking Bad. But anyway, this is a fantastic book. One thing that does kind of bug me a little bit about it is the symmetrical paneling. You
Yeah,
notice how all the panels are broken down into equal, like, I don't know. It just really, it just seems really safe. If that makes sense. There's no storytelling going on with the paneling.
I don't know. I think it kind of works though because of
It
the
worked.
style of
It
story it is.
it works for this kind of beat thing, but overall, as a
Yeah.
stylistic choice, I'm not a fan of it. I feel like with this kind of case or with this kind of book, there should have been some full page spreads. There should have been some like half pages. There should have been some, you know, 4 panel pages, that kind of thing.
Well, I mean, if flipping through it real quick, I mean, if you look at it, each page, the panels almost put like a rhythm to it.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Ooh, as a musician, look at that.
Yeah, I am actually.
As a musician, look at that and just tell me if this feels like the way that someone would map out like a song or something, because that would be a layer that
Well,
I completely.
well,
Well,
well.
you
Here's something interesting. So,
yeah.
in the confrontation between the two guys, it starts off with a long panel, and then a little bit shorter, and then a short panel, and then kind of a little bit longer, and then two
Oh
real short
wow,
panels
wow.
as the
No,
guys are
you're right.
fighting.
You're right. No,
And
no.
then it's four equal panels quickly as all the action happens as he hits him with the guitar, and then
Right.
goes to a long one if you think of that as like a long musical sting, and then kind of goes to three shorter ones and then a big longer one when he first stabs him. So
I'm
yeah,
gonna
there
have
is
to.
almost almost kind of a rhythm to the shape of it.
Right. That's something that I'd have to look at. Like that's why I kind of left this one up to you. Like I've read it, of course, but
Yeah.
uh,
And then like when they're talking in the diner,
if that's the case, then I completely retract my statement.
yeah,
Because
like if you pull up if you look at the diner scene real quick, those really 3 pages, they're all very. There's one kind of longer opening panel, right, and then each one from there. So you have 4 and 4, which are of equal size, and then you have 3, 3, and 3, and then 4, 4, and 4, and then one of the same size as the beginning. If you look at that real quick.
wow, yeah, I see that. Holy
So
shit,
each scene almost kind of has a panelistic rhythm to it.
it does. Like this is what he's talking about, guys. Look at the top panel here covers the entire width of the page, and then it's like dum 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 dum, and then the very last page is of that sequence, I guess, is this, and it is basically the reverse of the first page. So it's long panel 4 4 3 3 3 4 4 1, which is exactly how music is written.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So you have the opening, it kind of
Now let me see.
speeds up, slows
Are these
down,
the exact
speeds.
middle pages? What pages are
Let me
these?
let me see. No, they are not the exact middle pages.
Okay. I was actually, well, that doesn't mean they're not the middle pages of the story though.
True.
I'll have to look at that.
Actually, they might be of the actual story because there
Right.
is a lot of ads in the end of this book.
Right. I'll have to look at that because maybe that's something we can do after this show and talk about at the beginning of tomorrow's show for this, because this is interesting as fuck to me now that I'm looking at it. I just don't
Yeah,
like I don't like, you know, when I say it's equal paneling, it just means that there's no imagination with the paneling. But I am
right.
absolutely wrong in that. I'm not a musician though, so I never would have picked up on that pattern. I mean, I would have eventually if I would have looked into it hard enough, but I would have just said I
Yeah,
don't like
and
symmetrical paneling and been done with it. Like, yeah, it's just too safe. But no, there
Well,
seems to be
that and actually, if you go back to the beginning, where the old dude is coming out of the pool, and then the next page where it shows Johnny first singing,
let's
yeah,
oh,
okay, sorry, I'm flipping back through it and noticing the shapes and patterns of them more, but yeah, we can save that if you're.
let's just look at the first and last page and see if my theory is correct.
That's actually a good idea.
It is not. It is not. It is not the way that I thought it was.
No, but that last panel is actually open.
Right.
So think of it like a song fading out.
Right.
Think of like a
we'll have to
Heartbreak.
look at this.
Think of like Led Zeppelin's Heartbreaker and Living Loving Maid. Like there's kind of a fade out between the two,
right,
and then it comes back into the next one.
Right. Well, you know, we're not going to give away the end of this book because the goal of this show is to get people interested in reading comics. If you want to DM me and ask me what happens, I'll be more than happy to tell you. But I'm just not going to give it away on YouTube and ruin the experience for anybody that wants to read this book.
Definitely go read this one if you like kind of mystery, crime, noir sort of styling.
I think my my exact quote was, if you like Ed Brubaker, you'll love this book.
Yes, I believe that is what you said.
So, you know what's next, right? You know what's about to happen.
Let's do it.
All right. This has been the most chattered about release of this week. Scott Snyder is very, very famous for his work on Batman. I believe in the New 52. Let me verify that real quick before I make an ass of myself. But we have Batman: The Last Night on Earth, and Scott Snyder. Let's see here. I mean, he's definitely written Batman in the past, but DC Comics, Batman. Yeah, he wrote the New 52 Batman, The Court of Owls, which is going to be actually my next pick for Storyline Showdown. Just a little teaser there. Batman Court of Owls. But anyway, The Last Night on Earth is a story. I almost want to call it an Elseworlds tale. DC Black Label, so some weird shit's gonna happen in it. But this is DC Black Label Book 1, and there are 4 parts of Book 1. The cover here.
Now, I just want to preface this by saying I like Batman, but I've never really followed him as a character, and I have no idea if this picks up in any particular storyline or anything like that.
That's why I said it's almost like an Elseworld.
Okay.
Are you familiar with what Elseworlds are?
Yeah.
Okay. They're like the what ifs of Marvel, but this particular story, I think, is a standalone title that you're expected to walk into and walk out of without ever having to have read a Batman book before. Now, it'll definitely help, but you don't have to. You don't have to know what the difference between 1939 and New 52 Batman are to enjoy this book.
Okay.
If you know that the Batman and Joker were rivals, then cool. But you don't even necessarily have to know that.
Man, you got a cooler cover pulled up than what I got from the store.
This isn't the one you got?
No.
Oh, you have to send me a picture of the one you got. This is the.
I will.
This is the digital copy that I downloaded. I do all my comics digital these days, man. It's just so much easier to read them on an iPad.
I know. There's something about the hard copies. I just I just love the feel of them.
I just don't have any
You
more
know?
room.
That's fair. You've seen my collection, though. It needs work.
It does. You've seen mine. I have no more room. What was it? 11 long boxes and like 8 short boxes or some shit.
something like that.
It is ridiculous. I have too many comic books, which is no such thing. But anyway, Batman: The Last Night on Earth. Where to start with this? It was a roller coaster. We open up part 1, The Cave.
I sent you a picture in DMs, by the way.
Oh God. I'll pull that up in just a second.
Of the cover. It's not on my dick.
Oh, okay. Thank God, not again. Oh man, I like your cover.
Really?
Yeah, that's pretty badass. I'm a little upset that I didn't get your cover in my digital copy. I mean, most of the time, digital copies have all the variants on them.
I mean, it's cool. Don't get me wrong, but I like the I'll wait till we get to it. But what he's carrying in his hand,
yeah,
in yours, but
we open up on a very interesting case. Batman and Alfred are working together to track down someone, and Batman's like, no heat signature, and Alfred's like, you should just come home, man. And Batman's like, no, I gotta find him. And
sorry,
go ahead.
I really liked that the bulk of the first part of the story was narrated by Alfred.
Right. Well, I mean, it kind of leads you into that, but you see all kind of strange things. But eventually, Batman tracks down the culprit, I suppose, because basically what's been happening is every other day or every week or something like that, someone's drawing a new piece of the chalk outline around Gotham City in 5-foot sections, and it ends up looking like Batman. I'll pull that page up here. And right where Batman's heart would be, in the center of it, is Crime Alley. So Batman eventually tracks down this. I guess it's implied that it's a mechanical robot, and it's a robot of a decomposing Bruce Wayne child that reaches out with a gun and shoots him. And then, I mean, Alfred's just like, no, you should leave, and then the Batman apparently gets shot. Is what we're led to see on the thing there. But we wake up and, well, Batman wakes up, not we, and he's in Arkham Asylum for some reason. Everything changes from black to white. Bruce Wayne wakes up. He's young. Um, and then there's a doctor, and there are other doctors, and he says, you've been at Arkham Asylum ever since you shot your parents. And that's kind of a jawbuster right in the face. I mean, within the first couple of pages. If you don't know what's about to happen, if you haven't been spoiled on this book, turn the video off right now. Stop listening, go read it, and then come back. Because after the crap that we've been getting from Tom King since DC Rebirth comes out, this is a Batman book worth following. If you're hurting for some decent Batman after Dark Knight Metal and the White Knight, this is great Batman. So Batman wakes up in Arkham Asylum, and the person that he's quote unquote cast as the Joker in his mind is his main doctor. It's later on shown that his other doctors are Harley Quinn and the Penguin, and Alfred keeps coming to visit him and talking to him. but they don't, like, Bruce Wayne just doesn't believe that this is real, that he's actually a patient, and it comes out that he just needs to relax, and that's it. But he wakes up and he finds, now this is the part that really screwed with me. I'll push through to it here. Um, they they show him digging in his padded cell, and he's got a toy dinosaur and a penny in that cell.
Okay, what's the significance of that?
Oh, you don't know?
No, well, the penny I assume is something to do with Two Face, but the
No, 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 no,
dinosaur I have
no.
no idea.
In the Batcave, there's a giant dinosaur and there's a penny for some reason. Those are trophies of his adventures.
Oh, okay. I remember the giant penny in the Batcave. I don't remember the dinosaur in the Batcave.
Yeah, there was a dinosaur in the Batcave.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying so hard to figure out what those meant.
No, no, no. Those are staples of the Batcave. They've just kind of always
Like I
been
said,
there.
I like Batman. I'm just not as familiar with him as
Right, right.
others.
As some people, yeah. No, those have been staples of the Batcave for decades. Um, a lot of people saw, like, in the Batman the Animated Series, I believe there was reference to them as well.
Yeah, now that you say that, I remember the penny specifically.
Right.
But
I don't know that the dinosaur was a part of it yet, but it was written into lore shortly after that show. So,
okay. Anyways, continue.
well, then you have Alfred with the bat helmet attached to the straitjacket provided by Wayne Manor.
Yes.
And he's trying to convince Bruce that that's why he thinks he's Batman, because of shock therapy of his delusions. But we eventually come to find out he puts the suit on, and he eventually just starts fighting his way. Like, well, we'll get to that. That's in part two, the right hand. He starts fighting his way up Arkham Asylum, and he notes that he does it in moments, like in just mere minutes. He takes Jim Gordon's boots. He takes Harvey Bullock's, or not Harvey Bullock, but uh, he gets a belt from Harvey Bullock. But he just steals police equipment as he beats the shit out of police officers climbing the tower of Arkham Asylum in his crazy man bat outfit. But it's eventually revealed that all of this is kind of a simulation, um, and that Alfred is very old and has created this simulation for Bruce Wayne, but the real world is destroyed, and we don't really know why yet. So Alfred lowers his disguise, and Batman is left to climb back up to the surface.
And I'm still confused as where he's coming out of, or what he's coming out of.
I don't think it matters that much. I think it's just meant to show that the world is fucked. This is Gotham now. I mean, let's just assume that this is Gotham.
Fair enough.
So, I mean, does it really matter where he's coming up as? Do you know anywhere in the world that looks like this for that much space?
But I don't know. I thought, because I'm not as familiar with reading Batman, I thought I was missing something in this part. That's all.
But he runs across a very familiar face, and that encounter pretty much leads us into to part three. But the Joker is just a head in a jar now, and that leads us to part three, the Asylum. Um, I'm not going to go over part 4 because, again, you should definitely read this. But it says it was 2 days.
No,
Oh, go ahead.
now. Oh wait, this isn't the part. I did enjoy the part where the Joker kept trying to tell him a poem that he had written for Batman, but keeps messing it up.
Oh no, this is that part.
Oh, okay, this is that part.
Yeah,
All right.
look at the right page. I'll pull it up on the screen share for you. There you go. Right there. But
Oh, okay. Yeah.
the Joker is definitely fucking with him through the whole thing, and the thing is, look at his text color; it changes. Not just on this page, but I mean, throughout the
Right.
story, the Joker's text box changes color, and I think that is meant to denote his lucidity at that particular moment. But this is also New 52 Joker. So, also, I think I heard something that we're getting the story of 3 Jokers, but he,
Oh, jeez. Anyways, sorry. Continue.
well, it was 2 days' journey to Coast City, is the narration for Chapter 3. And once they get to Coast City, you find out that Mogo has been killed, essentially. Um, and that Mogo was the guardian of the Green Lantern rings and made sure that the people that they were given to were equipped to handle them. But now the rings themselves control the wearers because the ring bearers are called slingers, I believe.
Yeah.
And Batman meets the Resistance, headed up by Wonder Woman,
Okay.
after being rescued
Hold
from
on.
this part.
I just want to read one panel real quick.
Go ahead.
When they first meet the slingers, uh, so Batman, whoever they are, they don't have the strength or willpower to wield a Joker. They're assholes. I get it. Move.
Actually, no. We don't know that Wonder Woman is leading the Resistance yet. Poison Ivy is still alive and flourishing somehow, even though we've already been explained that this Batman. Have we been explained? Yeah, I think we've been explained that this Batman is a clone of a clone of a clone. But
Well, not quite yet.
oh, that hasn't been explained yet.
No, that's not till later, right?
Uh, I think so. You'll have to forgive me, but I think that Alfred explains it to him, doesn't he? No, he doesn't. He explains that everything's a simulation and lets him go. But
Yeah,
we
because I
we
thought
find out
I
from
thought
Diana.
Diana
Yeah,
explains it to him in the next chapter.
yeah, in part 4 that we're not actually going to talk about. But he does encounter Poison Ivy, and Poison Ivy is just knocks him the fuck out with her plants. And that leads us into part 4 that we're not going to talk about beyond the fact that we find out that this Bruce Wayne is a genetic clone of Bruce Wayne that is set to awaken every generation so that every generation has a Batman. And this is the world he's woken up to. Baron, the Joker, is nothing but a head. Poison Ivy's a good guy. Green Lantern rings are being wielded by people who are essentially addicts. Um, it's a phenomenal book. Scott Snyder knocked it out of the park with this. I'll definitely be reading book 2. I'll definitely be reading issue 2 of Killer Groove as well, though. So,
Oh, I'm definitely putting Killer Groove on my pull list.
right.
So,
We may not review them on the channel, but I definitely suggest both of these books to everybody watching and listening to the sound of my voice at any time now or in the future. They're worth it. If you're tired of Tom King Batman who gets left at the altar by Catwoman, this is a nice breath of fresh air. But I think that this is a comic book that we deserve as far as Batman goes. It's like I said, it's an Elseworld story. I don't think it has anything to do with um, anything major. I'm not going to give away the ending of this book. I want people to go out and read it. Like I said, if you want to know or if you want to talk about it, just shoot me a message, drop a comment, whatever. And
if you want to talk about if you want to talk about Killer Groove, go ahead, DM me, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm more than happy.
We're going to look into that Killer Groove mathematics thing, and we're going to look at the paneling patterns and whatnot of each of the scenes and see what we can find out about it. Because that was interesting as shit to discover. Excuse me, live on air.
I mean, honestly, I didn't notice it when I was first reading it. It was just something that occurred to me going back. But I do know reading it, it had kind of a rhythmic feel to it. Like it went, like when I got to the end of the story, I was like, wait a second, what?
Right.
It's over?
Yeah. Well, tomorrow we have no fucking clue what we're going to be doing. So we're going to go ahead and probably wrap this up so we can figure that out before we go to sleep in a drunken stupor and forget again tomorrow.
Don't worry, I'll write it down.
Yeah, that's why I keep airing around, even though I fire him every episode. Like, share, subscribe, follow us on Twitter, all that good stuff. Hey, links in the description.
I have below. I have the face for radio, sir.
You definitely have that, and the haircut.
Exactly. Now, hold on one second. I have one more little topic we need to cover before the show's over.
Oh, absolutely. Let's do that.
So, anybody who was on the show listening last week will know I started a poll.
On
my Twitter account.
Here we fucking go.
It is officially over.
Oh shit! I forgot to bomb it. All
so,
right. Let's look at the results of this.
Church, yeah, pull this up so people can see it.
I'm gonna try. Give me a second.
So, backstory. Church likes to give me shit for using the term "cool beans." Yeah, he says nobody says that. He says nobody says that anymore. But all of my employees are 21 or younger, and most of them say it. So I put up a poll last week, going for 7 days, in the middle of the show, asking if you could still say that. Now, would you like to give out the results once you have that pulled up?
I'm just going to put it on screen. I'm not going to say it and acknowledge you.
Well, I'll say it then. Yeah. So, 44 of you wonderful people voted. 61% voted yes, and 39% voted no. So, you can't give me shit anymore for saying that there, Church.
Don't tell me how to live my goddamn life. I'm going to give you shit more now. You done fucked yourself up.
Hey, I'm smoking a Cuban. I outclass you right now.
I don't know. My whiskey's more expensive.
Albeit, I am in my underwear. But that's besides the point.
Well, that's in your contract for the show. Anyway, let's get the fuck out of here. You can get the intro music or the outro music queued up. Everybody who's still listening, go watch the Blunt stream. I'm gonna go ahead and end the call with Ayrton. I'll jump back on with you as soon as the intro music starts.
Sounds good.
All right, man. Thanks again. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
If you want to give your final thoughts or your final shout outs.
Rock and roll, everybody. Rock and roll.
Cool beans. All right, just me now. Gonna go ahead and set the outro music here.
How much responsibility do you feel you have, particularly to guys the alt-right, who, as you say, some of them have enjoyed your work, and say,
no,
I'm not one of you guys. I'm not with you guys.
They haven't enjoyed my work.
I've definitely read bits on the internet.
Read more. Read more. Read more.
You've sold 2 million copies of 12 Rules for Life. You have 800,000 followers on Twitter, 1.4 million followers on YouTube. What is it that you're selling that so many people want to buy?
I don't think I'm selling anything. Selling anything. I don't think I'm selling anything. Selling anything. Selling anything. I don't think I'm selling anything. Selling anything.
So people are willing to pay a lot of money to see you speak. You know, what is it that you think that people are hungry for? They want to hear from you.
They're hungry for a discussion of the relationship between responsibility and meaning. Responsibility and meaning. Responsibility and meaning. The relationship between responsibility and meaning. We haven't had that discussion in our culture for 50 years. 50 years. We've concentrated on rights and privileges and freedom and impulsive pleasure. Those are all useful in their place, but they're shallow, and that's not good. Because they're shallow. If people are moored shallowly, then storms wreck them, and storms come along. So I'm talking to people about how they can build a foundation underneath, and that works. Storms come along. So read more.